You ready? Yeah, sorry, wait. You want to say it? Yes. Yeah. Okay, I'll do that.
Hello, yes, anybody want to? It's not seen you before. We haven't seen you before. You've seen my videos?
Yes, I'm looking forward to this all day of work trying to get away. But I know you can see you so often.
Hello. What's the name?
I see you too on a blog.
Hello.
On Facebook page. If that makes any. Nothing on this.
You get it.
Yeah.
Because you've got your mobile.
No, it's not. So my mobile one day.
Yeah, true spiritual church.
Then you go in and pick ice cream.
Really?
Yeah, so some people see it comes in as food.
You can make it coffee more than you come out and go, oh, it's like food.
I did something at the Order Sanctuary. Over the Order Sanctuary years ago, they had this sort of guide, teachers meditation things, and I'd accidentally left the mobile on. I had a message, and the alert tones were so after this, someone said, I had a spirit come as a bush king.
Yes.
Oh, right, you really sorry, please do. I don't think
It's gorgeous,
it's
isn't
not
it?
online.
That's the one thing about doing.
It's fine.
Stuff that takes longer, you know, kind of building and stuff.
And my phone's all on silent anyway. No, one can get through to me.
I know, I've been trying all afternoon to get through to your, Messenger, on your,
Love you.
yeah, to see if you had extra tickets, but that's all right, we worked that all out.
Oh, you was, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all. Sometimes I get through most of them, but there are a lot of people messaging me.
Yeah.
Why are you flowers?
Oh, thank you,
With it?
thank you very much. You know Julie Thomas, you met her in Southampton with Mandy Wild.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I missed the opportunity that time because I was moving when you were down there. And I've just moved up to Ashford.
Yeah, that's my birthplace.
Is it?
Yeah, I lived there for 14 years and then moved up to Kent.
Right,
I've been here ever since.
yeah. But you're up in Herne Bay, aren't you?
No, I'm not here.
Oh, you're in Margate, oh.
Yeah, long Margate, sunny Margate. Seafront.
Oh, lovely.
We were gonna go up to Margate last time she was down. We didn't get the opportunity, we missed it.
It's nice in the evening, we've got a lovely sunset.
Yeah.
Really is good.
Gorgeous.
So it's the best place.
I don't know where I got her, had you been in Herne Bay at one point? Because I don't know where I saw that, I thought you were.
Yeah, that was probably with Alison. She does events in her Bay.
Oh.
She lives there.
Okay,
And she runs a little spiritual shop, so I do events for her. sometimes.
oh, maybe that's what I got it through, okay.
Yeah, do events at the Five Bells. I've done a few times there, and her shop I've done a few times. But she's a nice lady.
Yeah,
She does all development work. She does,
oh,
and I always forget about that because people ask me that shop, and they're too far away from home.
yeah,
They're anywhere near to get to home Valley and they're in Kent. They can go there, you know. She does all sorts of
there's,
tarot development, everything.
it's, the only place that I've got near me is the Chakra Center, I don't know if you're familiar with that. That's on Canterbury Road.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I told them they should contact you because they have people come in all the time, you know.
Yeah, I've think you've heard of it. I don't think I've ever been there.
It's a nice place, isn't it?
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah, it's a nice little healing center.
Oh, lovely. If I lived in there, I'd go in there. That's amazing. Why can't I give everyone else in it? I don't get one.
Yeah.
I do. It doesn't cure anything.
Do you feel you don't get any of the effects when you're healing with Jonathan? I mean,
Obviously I feel him there.
yeah,
I feel him there. I'm not healing place. I don't feel nothing. I just feel like there's someone up in my hands. That's it.
yeah,
He does the rest of it. I can just feel his head.
That's the whole idea of it, is to just take you out of the equation and just go over the equals, you know, and you just sort of say, oh, I've got to make it free, maybe Chinese later. I just said, there was a medium.
I don't think that's quite what I meant.
Yeah, the medium said, that was wonderful, so what did you do? And I said, well, I just was sort of put my mind elsewhere, and she said, don't you actually, no, you don't do that, you do concentrate on the healing. I said, why would I do that? Because it's not me, is it?
Someone's going
So,
through you.
so if you just take your mind elsewhere, and she thought I was joking, I was like, oh, this is I've got some egg noodles in the fridge, or put them in the, you know, make a Chinese, and you finished now, right? And she said, no, you're pulling my leg up, and I find that this being says now, don't forget, it's heads, shoulders, knees and toes. And we'll get that, and I'm going, oh, I don't do that. I just allow them to do what they want to do. And, you know, people ask you questions, but yeah, but surely you should know what's going on. Why? It's not about me. It's about the person that I'm working on. I just allow them to work.
I like your top.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, that's nice, isn't it? Wolves. Well, where'd you get that?
I think it's Christmas present.
Oh, I've never seen this.
But I work in the kind of Native American way of sending the voice, bit of the drumming, smudging and things
I
like
like
that.
to listen to the drums. Something about it,
Yeah.
isn't there? That just sending you right off.
Oh yeah. And I spent a couple of weeks.
I feel that way about singing bowls, you know,
Yeah.
Tibetan singing
Oh,
bowls.
yes, I love
They
it.
send me.
I tried to play it.
Yeah, I'm useless at it as well, but
It's
they.
just going through everything. It's nice, isn't it? It does happen after a while.
Years ago, and we got all the big crystal ones, and there was something making this noise, and I was going to ask you something, and I felt really stupid afterwards. I said, what was that? The one that makes the rah noise. And he just went, oh, it's this, you just hold it against your mouth, and when you open your mouth, it kind of resonates in the inside of yeah. Can look into my eyes, not really eyes anyway. You will not remember I asked you that question. Really? You had to ask that question? Yeah. Oh, yeah. The real deep.
It's a way to be living that.
Because this spirit of grabs your ankle and shoot you like a blanket. Because you
Oh, for goodness sakes, we're gonna do the Jack anything, okay. Jack.
Oh,
Yeah, how it is, you push the button. If you just go like this, you do the button. Yes, where it says camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I always have to, look at there, I accidentally took the picture of my phone. Accidentally, see, I know. There we go. Is that all right with you, Matt?
Yes.
Or, oh, would you prefer another one? Oh, that one's a nice one.
Yeah,
Oh, I like the
yes,
other one better. My chin doesn't piece back there.
and the old lady that
Yeah, no, beyond, yeah, definitely.
left us money for the upkeep, and the place of work contacted us and said, would you like to build
Yeah.
you'll have to pay that. And we put a whole church, everything.
No. It's a white.
Yeah, I mean, built, well, I've really got years ago.
So my family is like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I know, that I'm not even to. Yeah, so she'll do you get that as well? Like all the children, just so that they see. I know, I'm I've seen it. I know, that's it, yeah. I hate love, like, I like it a lot. I like
Yeah. And some people have shy faces and some
cry faces not right. We need to know you people. And then you got so angry, like, such a snake. Yeah, you can. Yeah, it says who, like the name, then the emoji. Yeah. She's gone away somewhere. Yeah.
So there's one soul.
And she's also
She must have had one soul.
might be ready for someone, yeah. Actually, medicine I've got these 4-pack, and then she knows like this one. Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll
say
yeah. Maybe I'll say
yeah.
I wanna have they want to do a normal evening. There's gonna be one in February. Would you like to go to that? It's an all night thing, but first meeting.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I mean, there's but I don't need it. Who's gonna mess with me?
So, yeah, she gets a bit scared, doesn't she? It's a bit scared. No, we'll leave it at home. He'll be fine. He'll probably for a while, but sadly. Oh, that's it.
You never have to worry. Two Juliets, but the two Juliets, my favorite names. Because that was what our group was called, mostly gatherings with names, because we both have names, and because we work with the angelic element energies. And they call us the two Juliets.
Wow. And that is gratified. It's got twins. That's good. It's a damsel tonight. It's the same as a man. Oh, damsel small. They're slightly smaller, so you can do it because.
It's got a couple of my.
Where I did like bring up I live really close to the community. I was walking one day with River, yeah. No, she's
Oh, up in North, yeah.
and I was walking next to it, and it was about later, and it was really fun. And you just see like the dragonflies like dancing around each other. Oh yeah, red, green, and beautiful. Yeah, we can get something. Yeah. I went on May, I went to the harbour.
Sweet, I think it's right. Around the same time as your birthday, Jessica.
Sick. 6th of February. My sister's got she's like, she's doing like, I think I was the same. I think one was cancer. I think fertilizer was cancer. And then it was
St. Augustine.
you know that? No, it's not. Where is
Weston Hospital. Well, I would St. Augustine's
town? Town.
Yeah, but I don't worry about it. That's so bad. It's not expensive. Oh, this is the other one. Social Club at here's Manston Sports Club and Social Club. It's another one. Surrey. There's that. 13th of February. That public house will do another one with the dinner on the 6th of February.
Well, that's quite good, isn't it?
So we can do that eventually.
Yeah.
Sandwich.
It's like an hour anyway.
Field Hall is sandwich. December 7th. They're four animals that we did.
Very attractive.
Yeah, it's
That's
good.
that's why everyone says find my son very, very handsome.
Yes, he is.
So handsome. That's it. Very Indian.
Oh, the state's not on its own.
Oh, yeah, no, it's big. Yeah, I get on with my phone quite well, to be
February 1st.
Do you like that, Julie? It's sticky. That was when we got bubblegum gin.
Oh,
It's called a unicorn picture. It's got bubblegum syrup. No, this was in the Wetherspoons in Ashford.
oh, she said she got a rubber uniform.
Yes, she did for his birthday. She got him a balloon, unicorn balloon. So it was a
Like a stick.
yes. Orions that they run around. He wouldn't run around on this as she did.
She really was really happy with you.
Yeah.
Really thrilled about that.
Yeah, no, I could tell.
She's really nervous, because it's been a long time since they've been together. She was just so happy. Very positive.
Yeah, I was happy when she got in touch to be honest, because I was straight from my dad for a little bit. And it's not great, isn't it? It's not great.
Like the hard thing is, before we moved down here now, don't go through the dating and see Jen. I said, you don't find somewhere putting things in hands. Carry that with you.
Like what happened in the future. It's so difficult. We can't change anything we've done in the past
Or said, or did.
Once said, it can't be undone as well, can it?
No, she didn't say that she had contacted him, but she said that they had been in contact. And I said to Marcy that I didn't want to get involved in that. I thought that was their process. Well, no, because when we moved down here, the three of us, Stephen, myself, and Brenda, we made up our mind that we would discuss the past, not because we didn't. Because it's easy to want to get things, bring up things that hurt you, and then you just rehash. It's just you're not healing. Yeah, you got to in order to heal, you have to let go. You just have to let go. Some people can't do that, and some people are still really and I think this opened up a little bit. Realized more that it's not as all one-sided as it seems, And it doesn't matter, it's like I said to me, it doesn't matter what we've done. We don't always, we're not always proud of what we do, but it doesn't mean that we love them even less, It means that we love them more, Steve is in our life on a lot, on a big basis growing up, So when we have that connection with him for such a long time, because they let it so much. Yes. I think we've seen this with him. A lot of times it's easier for him just to shut out. I think over there as well as he's got such a sensitive side. So sensitive. He's such a sweet. He is. Yeah. And he gets just and he gets his puts a wall as he does. And how to get through it. I sent him a message right before I sent you, I'm sorry, my part of whatever is upsetting for you, but I just love you. If there's some way that we can work through this, well then I'll send someday. So whatever. It's just that he can physically get himself to when he speaks first. Yeah, and I think it's difficult because he doesn't want anybody else to hurt the process. He doesn't want his mother to be hurt. He doesn't want his dad to be hurt. But yet, there's situations that he's not really aware of, and it's not his fault. It's not his control.
And there's a lot of the things to think about.
And like the situation with Jake at the moment, Jake just basically works the situation. I don't know if you're aware of this, and I don't have to go into it. But when we had the situation with Charlotte 2 years ago, Jake just literally, he wasn't happy with his mother to begin with. And he told me, don't contact me again. And which, you know, we don't want to have, very excited about that your ultimate target is that you here, you know, where you're at. And it's all trying to do as regards to custom, you know, say, you know, you're working out, you know, the thing is that it's like Stevens said, that, you know, we're all stuck.
Yeah, I am too. I can sense it on people.
Yeah.
My family is totally the same stuff.
But you get illness in your family, your sister, so you know, or it's like things, so you can.
Honestly, it was like the one thing that came out of was cancer last year. She got and she's now completely cancer-free. It's a bit like, wow, this is such a shame.
And it's an eye opener, isn't it?
And we all just
And
like,
life's too short.
she was just like, honestly, we just can't like, it's life is too short. And
That's
especially
exactly.
now that that's happened, I don't think we'll ever be the same again.
No, you're not.
You've got to prepare for this because life's too short.
You know, and it's like, you know, like Stephen and all the years that he has been in touch with our side of the family, there's things that have changed, you know, it's how people's, you know, lives, like, I'm not blaming anything, but now we're just getting things out open the way it should be, so that it's a balance of, I'm just gonna say truth, you know, and there's never been that with the divorce side, you know. So,
What, like actually talking about your feelings?
well, having Terry's relationship with Christine, it was always kind of dragged into that. And it was unfair because it wasn't my fault. You know. And it happens, you know. But it was made difficult for us because they stayed at Terry's end. Having connections with him, and what we did, it was all and they've been married now, they divorced now, it's going on 7 years. And that was 7 years ago. Not that I didn't have problems with them on the phone, but then when Charlotte played the game, she played with Fury. That's when everything fell apart. It, you know, and Christine, you know, Christine's heart is really bad. You know, she's not a place to respond. She's, you know, she's not well. And I said, Mom's not well. She should have to react to this. And I said to Steve, when we met, I said, she's going to have a profound change. He's like, I think I told you as well.
Yeah.
Because it was just shortly after you come to the house and told us that you know, that we met, that everything started.
So these ones are really important. He feels special.
I adore him. I adore him. And I'm in this way. But if you were to step on by together, you would always have I adore him. But the rest of them, you know, just, you know, because then they would have all
If anybody needs to go through this for me, okay?
Okay. Like, two sides to it, unfortunately. It seems like such a toxic, that's obviously such a shame because that doesn't mean it's serious impact between the two.
Yeah, and you know, doing the therapy that you do, it's to communicate. Yeah, and it doesn't just happen to be the husband. It's hard to be family. But he's a proud man as well. Moving forward.
Yeah,
Not
sorry.
past it. Please, and that's so important. And that's, you know, when all this started was when I was just starting. And so I'm progressed over the years on how I believe in the way things are, and the way things are, how things are. And Julie helped me for 10 years. We've known each other since this. Oh, I had a little career.
And you've got photographs.
Didn't I have a career with all their names? And I had a grid with their names all on it, and I had Christmas all over it. You know, the sad thing is that, you know, we all feel bad about it, and we want things to be better. But unless you look in, you know, in conjunction with each other, it does not, you know, and talk through it, you know. When Christine left Terry, she left. They've been together.
Anyone else want to?
Kids never know.
Does someone else come?
No, it's hard.
Oh, do you want to sort of shut the door or?
Yeah, it's fine, it's still shut.
Oh. Sorry, the tap's watching me. Yeah, can't see my face in the order. I don't know. Yeah, I'll do it.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you all so much for coming, and to those of you that have travelled to be here with us tonight. With the show, Elaine is a trance medium, which means that her guide Jonathan will be speaking through her this evening. The importance of when we do questions and answers, if you have any questions at all, please do ask, because a lot of this is like real participation as well. And if you have anything that comes through as well throughout the evening that you recognise, you feel it to yourself, then please do speak up so that we can get things to run smoothly. We will be having an interval at about 8:30ish for about 15-20 minutes or so that you can use the toilet, get some more drinks, and then we will come back and we should finish between about 2:45 and 10 o'clock. I will bring Elaine out of the trance about 9:45 so that we can all get up here for 10 o'clock. And if you have to travel, we can make sure you get on the road safely. So I'll go over to Elaine now. We'll do a prayer, Elaine will tell you a little bit more about what to expect, and then I can get started with some questions and answers. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, thanks for coming along. It's nice of you to give up the time to be here. Okay, to join Spirit. And of course, if you have any mobile phones, either put them on silent or switch them off. Just no sudden loud noises, just make a job of it. It's not going to kill me, but it just does job you, which you can know yourself. Those of you that do trance or anything of that nature, you'll know how it feels like someone waking you up in the morning and you don't expect it. So if you would like to join me in prayer, okay, and of course, when you talk to my guide, he likes to hear your voice. They pick up on our voice vibration, so they like to hear you talk. If you nod, I might ask you obviously if my eyes are stay shut throughout. So is everyone ready? And after that, I'm going to put some music on and go into the trial. So we'll do the prayer first, okay? Father, we ask you to bring our spirit guides and our loved ones amongst us this evening. And we ask that everything is in love, light and truth, happiness and harmony. And we ask that the messages and the answers are profound, abundant and correct, and that you will place the utmost of healing, love and the greatest of protection over each one of us. And may this continue with us now and throughout the days of our lives. And if there is anyone in this room tonight, or friends and family that may need healing, we pray that it will go out to them at this time, even with the animal kingdom. So now we leave ourselves in your hands, Father, and we trust that you'll give us a wonderful evening with Spirit. Amen.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It is nice to be with you all, and we would like to thank you from our side of life for coming to see Elaine and I in action. So, we would like to see smiles on your faces, because this is a wonderful experience, isn't it? All of us gathering here, and the voices echoing from the walls, bringing you unconditional love. So many of you may have come from afar, and many of you may live nearby. But wherever you come from, you come to join us and be unified together as one for this one evening that is going to be special. And there will be many more of those. Yes, there will be. Many more of the mediums of the world are going to come out into the open, and they're going to express themselves to others, whether it be healing, messages. It doesn't matter what it is, philosophy, they will come. Because your world at the present time is in a little bit of a traumatic state, isn't it? And we are needing to come and bring the light in. Of course, it has already been there for many, many years. It just got a little out of hand. But there has always been negative and positive in your world. You learn from the negative. And from the positive, when you come from the negative, you learn to appreciate the positive, don't you? You learn how to become more empathic. You learn how to spiritually awaken yourself, to go within. So I give you the opportunity to ask us questions. And within those questions, do not be too shy to ask. There may be questions about your own journey. There may be questions about another's journey. Or there may be questions about life itself. We are here to help you. We are not here to live your life for you, but we are here to help you, to enlighten yourself, to find the answers. But the answers are already within. It is just a matter of trusting in your intuitive self, isn't it? Your higher self, as you want to call it. And once you learn to listen to that, it will lead you to the right place every time. So it may lead you into a place where there is going to be a test, but you will overcome that test. Life is but a test, isn't it? So I am waiting with bated breath whoever is going to ask me a question.
Yeah, I have a question.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, my friend. Working under trance, are you able to bring in loved ones to communicate as you and I are now?
Not always. We do make communication. They are going to come through me, Jonathan, and sometimes they are able to come and speak for themselves. Of course, you need to understand that we have to learn how to manipulate a human voice and a human energy. And so we are having to blend with that energy and learn how to manipulate it in order to communicate physically in your world. So we will come to you and we will step into your energy that widens when we go into all the states of mind. And then we will manipulate the energy. And then the vocality is used, you see. It is sort of altered. And it has a little bit of ectoplasmic energy that is put into it to help that happen, you see. And there is mind manipulation, and it comes into the physical world. But yes, those who are usually very forthright, or would have been forthright in life and quite confident, some of them are able to just come in very quickly and express themselves. But it won't always be in perfection of their voice that they had. It may be something of a similarity. But it is on occasion that it happens, you see.
Okay, my friend.
We are working to try and get more of that to happen with the trust of the medium. Of course, there is the trust of the medium. It's a little bit like a triangular connection, isn't it?
Yes.
You see, you've got the medium, you've got the guide, and you've got the others who want to come through. So it's a three-way connection. Then you've got four, because you've got the human that's sitting in the chair waiting for that connection. So it's quite a lot to get through.
Yes, my friend. I understand, thank you.
Wonderful.
I have a question.
Go ahead, my dear.
How do we find out what our own specific psychic gifts are?
Well, I find that some people go to many different things, and they try things out, don't they? They go to courses, or they go to classes, or meditation groups, or they may study several religions before they actually begin to awaken and find out that they are spiritual themselves. So I have known people travel from all sorts of places to all sorts of places and study all different sorts of cultures and religions. And they are looking for what is already within. So all they need to go is inside, within. But some people do not have any idea how to do that. But meditation or a relaxed state of mind where you are at peace of mind helps you to come closer to us. But then you may go around, as I said previously, trying different things, and then you will finally find something that you will resonate perfectly with. But with some, they already have the gift within, and it comes out without warning. It happens like it did with Elaine, you see. And then you will know that you have a certain gift. You perhaps are a healer, or somebody says to you, well, every time you touch me, I feel warmth from your hands, I feel healing and comfort. You will know that you are a healer. But every one of you have healing abilities, but different people approach healing in different ways, and mediumship. And a lot of people will find out that they are perhaps in psychic of mind by having premonitions about things, and then they come true. So does that answer your question?
Sort of. Can it take a long time?
It sometimes can, but sometimes with others it will happen very quickly. But you will all have the plan of what you're going to do before you come here. It's just you are given a sort of an amnesia because you want to challenge. And so it is perhaps trying out different things and seeing what resonates with you best. Or asking the guide to send you signs that they are close by. Send your synchronicities, that sort of thing.
Thank you.
Wonderful. We do our best.
I'd like to say that someone's been murdered, but how's their spirit in the other world? You know, are they still?
Well, there was one story that Elaine read about, and previously in another life, this young person was murdered with a weapon, buried, and passed to the spirit world. And very shortly after that, I would say a few years later, this soul wanted to reincarnate to bring the person to justice because they were never brought to justice in their life that they were murdered in. And so he chose to reincarnate in order to bring this person to justice. And he was allowed to be given the memory of what happened to him, the trauma. And he was allowed to remember the place that it happened in order to bring this person that was still living to justice. You see how quick they can come back and solve the problem? The man was brought to justice. So that is how quick it can happen. They could reincarnate if they wanted to. But I would find that if it is a very traumatic thing, sometimes they will hang around on the earth plane until they see the light, or they may need to be helped to cross to the other side. So they hang around in a state of confusion. And they're not particularly frightened, but they are wanting to know if they can be found or if this person can be brought to justice. But eventually they will go into the light. And that is usually after their funeral takes place. They are properly rested, you see. So they're not left hanging around, because if somebody comes along to sort it all out, you see, they can go away and be at peace. The light is always there for them to turn to. They're not going to be alone. Some will join the light quickly, but others will hang around, my dear. That is the truth of the matter. Because it is trauma, isn't it? You imagine being outside of your body and seeing your body there like that, you see. It must be pretty traumatic. So at first you may not be able to find the light. But if you call out, it is going to be there. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Another question. How is it it's been made so difficult for us to communicate with people like you?
It is not necessarily difficult. What it is, when you come here, there are things to do in your earthly life. And you are getting on with your daily life inside of your mind, inside of your logic state of mind. So a lot of your life is spent in that logic state of mind, because it has to be, because you have to function in the world, don't you? And so you want to come here to live the physical life. If you were walking around in a spiritual daze all of the time, you simply couldn't function. So we're not here to keep interfering with your life. We want you to enjoy your life in the earthly life. But you are given amnesia in your life simply because if you knew everything spiritual, everything that was going to happen, there would be no challenge for you. There would be no excitement for you. You would know it all already, you see, and what would that bring to you? You understand?
Yes. Thank you.
Wonderful. It's sort of an amnesia, because if you remembered all of your lifetimes, your mind would be particularly crowded.
Jonathan, recently I had a bereavement, one in February and one just recently, and they were pets. The pet that I just recently lost, it's come to light that he was very, very special in a spiritual sense. And I was wondering if you could put your feelings about our furry-faced friends and their abilities to come and go is spirit.
I would say that animals are advanced in their souls. They have no fear of passing to the other side. They are brought to your world to give unconditional love and perfect understanding, but they also come to the world, some of them with fears, in which their lifetimes they will learn to overcome, with perhaps the help of humans. You see?
Mhm.
So they are wanting to come into the physical world, and they are wanting to teach you about unconditional love. But sometimes there is a cruel society that wants to treat them badly, but even then they are still forgiven. They're here to teach you unconditional love. You are here to give them unconditional love.
Thank you.
And they do come back. Yes, they do.
Thank you. That's answered the question. Thank you.
I have a question following on from that. Are we talking about all animals or just domestic animals?
No, well, if you get wild animals, they are out in the wild. Their instinct is to kill and to hunt. That is all they have ever known. And so if they see you as lunch. But they're not, sometimes if they are brought up in captivity, and they're brought up from babies and all they know is human contact and human love, and they are fed by humans in captivity, then they will be safer. But they've still got that instinct from their ancestry to hunt, you see? So they're still going to have the makeup of that. But if they're brought up in this captivity, they are less wild, you see? So it's instinct through millions of years of evolution. This instinct within the animal is going to be to hunt. So if you've got a domestic pet, and you've got a dog, that is going to be a little bit more at home. But if you've got a cat, that's still going to have the wild instinct in it to hunt. And it will, whatever love that you give to it, it will give you unconditional love, but it will still have that hunting instinct and still want to kill the birds and the mice, etc. Yes. So they do not need so much of homes and beds and bathrooms. They come from previous wildness. Even dogs do. You get wolves, don't you? Hyenas, that sort of thing. They are all still in the way of hunting, but you have your domestic pets. They have evolved over the years to come close to humans and to trust them, so they become domesticated. Does that answer your question?
A further question then. So do all animals have spirit?
Yes, they do, yes.
So
Every single one.
Even the ones we eat?
Yes, they do. They have souls. They are living things.
So should
And
we be
anything that is
vegetarian?
yes, anything that is living has a soul within it. And that soul has the greater understanding that it has a term of life here to help the human survive. So again, it's sort of an unconditional love because it's giving its life up so that you can survive and eat. It knows that before it comes here. It has no fear of death, really. Of course, if it is going to be put through trauma, it has a fear. But when it actually goes to pass, it has no fear. It loses that fear, much like the human, once it passes out of the physical body, the fear is gone. You see, it's animals have souls, trees have souls, plants, everything. But they are all here for the greater purpose. Evolution. And evolution is intelligence, isn't it? It's eternal, it's forever moving forward, forever progressing. So animals progress, and they have progressed enough for cats, dogs, bunny rabbits, tortoises to become domesticated.
Jonathan, do you believe that they have lessons to be learned themselves and taught?
Yes, yes. You may get one dog, or I will give an example. You may get one particular animal that is a domesticated pet. They are rather untrusting and aggressive with other people that doesn't know. And then you will get another pet that trusts anyone, you see? So they've all got their own personalities and their own developmental skills to learn from. They all learn, much like humans. But they are the most forgiving beings, aren't they?
And I think that the best example of unconditional love as well.
They are here to give humans unconditional love and comfort, but you are also here to learn to give it to them. The human existence is the choice. And many souls choose to come here. But most of them will come here now to enlighten the world. And so will the animals, you see. We do hope that helps you.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Any more questions?
I have another question. With the world, the way it is at the moment, where Mother Earth is being ravaged, how can we help the world leaders to appreciate that global warming is real and it's not something that has happened maybe in the past, which it has, but we're making it worse? How can we help as spiritual people?
Well, I think that with these sort of higher people, they are there for the monetary gain of the world, aren't they? Their countries.
Yes, no.
And they are there to put the money in their pockets and to see their economy as rising. So as long as they have the resources to keep that going, then they're going to keep on doing it, because they say, well, if we stop, what is our economy going to do? Is it going to diminish? How are we going to carry on? What other way can we think of to do it? So they think it is all a myth. And when it comes to it, these things start happening more aggressively. They're going to come to the realization through experience of the matter happening, and they're not going to listen to it until it happens. So you can drum it into them as much as you like, but they are just worried about the economy, and they are not worrying that the resources will eventually run out.
Yes, my friend.
The world only has so much of the natural resources, and when those natural resources run out, what are you going to think of next? You're going to have to think of some sort of mechanical resource. So then you're going to go indoors with all of your greenhouses and things. And then that involves chemical uses, you see. And so that is going to go out into the atmosphere somehow, isn't it? It's a vicious circle, shall we say.
It is, my
And
friend.
it is progression. And it has gone beyond the mile of stoppage. It's oversped. You say that other animals become extinct through man hunting them down and such. Well, I'm afraid that man will make man extinct by themselves. But it is progression. And you will progress so far that when the progression is finished, you will all go into the spirit world and progress there.
Thank you, my friend.
Maybe one time the souls will find another existence on another planet. Who knows?
We can only hope.
I'm afraid that there is the mass exodus and the mass awakening. And the two go side by side. And the two aren't too far from each other either. It's not me putting fear into you all, it is getting you to understand that you can slow things down, but the damage is already done. You see, all you are doing is just quickening it and causing it to be more energetic. So you are all working on ways of slowing it down. But your modern society is always going to go forwards and backwards, because it will create something to slow it down, but that will also use another energy, which will also release some sort of chemical into the atmosphere. But then you have natural chemicals within the earth, and if these ice caps melt, then underneath them you have chemicals underneath them, Within the earth has those sort of measurements of chemicals within the earth. And if they are released, then that's going to quicken it even more, isn't it? You see?
Yeah.
What is underneath all of that? So that needs to be thought about. You cannot refreeze once that thaws. That is it. That is the last of it.
Yeah.
And so therefore your sea levels will rise. And some of the countries will be underwater. That means another mass exodus. Unless you're going to run and hide somewhere else. So you see, the world will always progress because she has a soul too. And she's not retaliating, she's just progressing. She has always evolved. Volcanoes have always erupted and created new land. And then that land has become dissipated by sea erosion again. Another volcano erupts, creates more land, and more sea erosion. You see, it's constant. It is eternal.
Thank you, my friend.
So I see that we have some of the souls coming in here now. They were in here in the first place, but more are adding to it. And we do have a gentleman here at the back there waving, and he would have had some sideburns here, and he would have passed to the spirit world in his 70s, and he had quite a moustache, all of which he would have trimmed, but it's very grey and slightly bushy, and the sideburns are slightly bushy as well. But he has a full head of hair, but it is thinning and it is combed back, you see? It's not that neatly cut, but it is cut enough to look a bit tiny. And he is at the back there. Does anybody recognize him? And he is saying that he is a grandfather, he's also a father as well, and I should imagine that he's a great-grandfather to youngsters that are still existing on the earth. And what is your name, sir, at the back there? Well, he would like to say it's Bill. And that is quite a common name, yes, but his name is Bill. And he has these heavy sideburns here. So there is no beard, just these heavy sideburns and this sort of slightly unkempt moustache, which is slightly old-fashioned bushy. And he has a blue jacket on, a navy blue jacket with brass-looking buttons, which are on the left-hand side of the jacket. And on that, he has a little medal that he would have had in the war or in the army. And he's trying to wave over here. So he's on the left-hand side, but they do come in on any side. So if anybody can take him, please do let us know, because he's very clear here. And he says, I was granddad to that person, Bill, I'm Bill, which is William as a full name. And he has the pet dog with him, which looks to be a little Jack Russell dog. So I don't know who he is connected with over here, but if anybody knows about this man, please do answer. Don't be afraid to speak up if you know about him. He's got a little bit of a tummy, not too much, but a little bit of a tummy, and his shirt is slightly open at the top there. Always wore khaki-coloured trousers too, along with this navy blue jacket. He practically lived in it. He's talking to me and saying, well, nobody remembers me, Jonathan, so I'm going to have to stand aside and let somebody else come through. Now, we do have a large German Shepherd dog, gentleman coming up to the front here and laying down. And it seems to be laying in the front row. Now, does anybody know this large boy German Shepherd dog? Very gentle character, very friendly with the children. And seems to be rolling over on his back there. It's definitely over this side of the room, but he seems to like you two at the front here. So he's it's a lovely dog, quite a large dog. And another one has come in. And that there is a German Shepherd there, and there is also an Alsatian there, which is quite a dark coloured Alsatian, I must say. The lightness of it is not showing so much through, but it has quite a dark muzzle. So if it's laying in front of you to both dogs. You see? And there is a gentleman standing here next to you, and he would have passed over to the spirit world, and he's got a lot of a packet of Marlboro cigarettes here, and he's showing that his lungs and chest were very bad. And he's saying that he passed over to the spirit world with that condition, you see. It seemed to be something wrong when the blood was concerned. So they like to stand near people. They pick up your energy, you see. Does anybody know about this gentleman? And he is, of course, going to a gentleman named Tom in here. You're all silent. You don't talk a lot, do you? You're in a world of your own.
Maybe I could take that,
Yes.
my friend. I know a Tom, and I know, if memory serves me right, he used to like Marlboro Lights.
That's right. It's a little red and white packet
I think so,
with
yes.
the Marlboro thin
Yeah.
packet. And he says, you know, I wouldn't give up. Everybody kept nagging me to, but I wouldn't. And I guess that, you know, I took myself to the spirit world, really, because I wouldn't give up. But these worldly habits are given to us, these temptations are given to us, and they find themselves to be addictive. So maybe I was this crazy man that just wanted to carry on being defiant. Yes.
Thank you, my friend.
You are welcome. You do have White Owl with you.
Thank you.
And he says we have a lot of work to do, more healing to do. And there are 3 of them around you.
Thank you.
And they say we are going to put a new rhythm to the drum.
That's lovely.
Wonderful. You know, you get used to one rhythm, but they want more rhythms. They are bringing through new rhythmic motions of the drum so that it can help people to go into altered states of mind.
I
So-
feel them around me now, so
Yes.
thank you very much.
They are your teacher. They are your
Yes.
teacher. And you are going to teach too. Now there will be another spiritual center. There will be that place, that opportunity for you to have that little place to teach.
Lovely.
So that will come up in the year 2020, which is not too far away from you now.
Thank you, my friend.
There is also, I do see that your dogs are there, my dear. There seems to be a little black and white dog there. Would you understand that? Lady in the corner there.
Black and white?
Yes.
No.
They were my dog.
They were
Pass.
I see.
They knew
And would you understand Pat?
Pat.
Yes.
What? As a person?
As a person, yes.
Yes, I would, yeah.
And would you understand her to be on our side of life?
Oh, she just passed.
Yes, she's with you. And she said, I love you, darling, and I'm at peace. I want you to know that. And I'm with the dogs, and with the cats, all the animals. You know how much I love the animals. And I'd like to thank you for being such a wonderful friend to me. Such a wonderful person. I love you. I'm right in front of you. You cannot see me, but my energy is there. And, you know, it doesn't take long before we come back. We can come back as much as hours after our passing. So I'm right here. And she said that she had some trouble with the knees here.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
And she also had some sort of swelling.
Yeah, she did.
Yes, there was swelling in the knees, swelling in the ankles. And there was also swelling of her hand. Would you know about that?
Yes.
Yes. And she said, darling, that's all gone. Once the physical is cast off, we become consciousness again. And my consciousness is sitting right here in front of you. Did you go to her funeral?
Yes, I did.
She said it was a joyous occasion and it was quite an intimate subject. And they said some good things about me, I hope. But, you know, they gave me leverage. But God knows I've been good. I did try, you know. I wasn't perfect, but none of us are. And she is saying the name of Ruby.
Well, yeah, I did know Ruby, but she is my mum's friend.
That's right, yes. And I understand Ruby is still here. But they said they're just saying Ruby to you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. And do you know who your guide is?
Some of them, yeah.
Yes. Well, you have one there called Alistair.
Okay, lovely.
Yes, he is prepared to write with you.
Okay,
He
thank
wants
you.
to write spiritually.
Okay.
And we also want to mention Jessie.
Yeah, I have a dog called Jessie.
Yes, she's here with you. She's going round and round in circles. She's trying to bite her own tail. She says that she used to do that in life sometimes.
Yes.
And everybody used to laugh because she had quite a bushy tail and she would chase it. They do give you such joy, don't they?
Yes,
They entertain you as well. What more could you want? And we must mention Joan in here. Joan. Now she is in spirit. Joan is in spirit. And she would have been a grandmother and of course a mother herself. But she has quite coloured hair, does this Joan, and it's like a sort of a little bit of a bouffant here. It's going back. She had it back combed, you see. So it wasn't necessarily curly, but it was back combed so that she would have some thickness in it. And it was sort of coloured in a little bit of a brunette colour, a very light chestnut brunette. And she would have the little greys coming through the sides there. And she had very rosy cheeks. She was always flushed. And small eyes, you see. And she's got a very thin little mouth, a beautiful little smile she's given here. And her name is Joan, and she's calling herself aunt and mother and grandmother. You see, and she seems to have a sister in spirit with her that is named Anne. So if anybody knows about Joan, please do speak up. Because those that are not known, they will sort of step back and allow others to come in. And there is also, I would say, think about that, because sometimes people come back later and say, well, I could have taken that. You need to speak up now, don't you? And I also have Bert here. And again, that's going over here, Bert.
Yes, my father-in-law.
Yes. Yes. Hello, darling. I'm so proud of you being here tonight. You know, I could be an awkward bugger sometimes. Now, I do not normally say those words, but that's what he
That's him, though.
Yes, he was very much open about his wording. So he said, I asked Jonathan to say that. It's not his word that he would normally use, but that was my word, you see. And he says he's taking his glasses on and off.
Oh, okay.
And he said he was forever losing the things. And he said he had bad habits, you see. And he said somebody's biting their nails.
Oh.
And he said chewing their fingers up. And he says, I'm with you here tonight, and I've got the dogs there, and they're all there for you, darling. And he says, you know, have faith in yourself, because you are gifted as well, you know.
Thanks, Dad.
Oh, he loves you. Now, would you, who knows Marilyn here? Marilyn. Marilyn, that is it, yes. Do forgive me. Marilyn. And she is on the earth, I do understand. Marilyn. Speak up or forever hold your peace.
Well, I do know a Marilyn that's on the earth.
Yes, I understand she has a few niggly health issues. Nothing too much to worry about, but she needs to look after herself. Yes.
Okay.
And there is also a dog in here. It is what you call, looks like a snow dog to me. It's beautiful. It's white. Yes. He's a big fellow. And he's coming up through the middle there, and he's sitting down looking at me, waiting to go to somebody, because this person had a large white dog. It wasn't a short-haired dog, it's a little bit fluffy. Not too fluffy, but it's a large white dog, and it is a male. And it had pointed ears. Who will understand that? Does anybody know him? I want to call him Snowy. He's a large dog. He's sitting here. He's waiting for an answer. You see, sometimes these pets will come in and they will want to get to your friends or your other loved ones at home, perhaps. And they know about them, you see. And who would know Tammy here? Timmy.
Dog,
Yes.
yes.
And Timmy is sitting with you and licking you, although you cannot see it. The dog is licking you and so happy to be with you. Timmy was a very special dog. He would see spirits and he would know that they were there and he would be very protective over you. But he didn't like the postman. So he's very much with you. And we do have Jamie, please. Jamie. Now, Jamie, I'm told, is on the earth. Jamie. You see, and a young man, early 20s, Jamie.
I can say that.
Yes, we want to send love to him. And I see that he is starting new beginnings. And I see a young lady with him. So he really likes her, doesn't he? Yes, I think things will progress. But we are sending love to him from a gentleman that is older and seems to be his grandfather. Yes. And I also want to mention Aunt Alice in here.
Auntie.
Yes, Aunt Alice.
Oh, yes.
Did you know her?
Not personally, but I know she's in the family.
Yes. She's come to bless you and she says, you know, you like your music, you like your radio.
Yes.
And she says, I hear you, I see you switching it on. And she's talking about a damp patch in a corner in the house.
Yes.
And she says, you need to get that seen to. You don't want it spreading further.
Mm-hmm.
Not good for your health, darling. Get it sorted out.
Thank you.
And there is Grace here, please. Grace.
Rings a bell, at least in the right.
Oh, yes. There are a lot of older ones over here. They're all young and beautiful now. So are there any more questions that you wish to ask in the meantime?
Not really. Are you able to see my spirit guide?
Yes. Your spirit guide is always very close to you, and you always have a guardian angel that is present with each one of you throughout your lifetime. So your guide is Robert. His name is Robert. And his name is Robert Savage, or Savage as I would call it, Savage, you want to put it better? Robert Savage. And he is there with you as your spirit guide.
Thank you.
He is saying we need to write together. If you want to.
One thing I haven't tried.
Yes. He said, we know that you do healing and things, and we know that you are spiritual. And he wishes to communicate and say, well, yes, I'm another one that likes to write. And it is a sort of a philosophy, spiritual philosophy about the other side. And how the spirit makes the transition to the other side. What a pleasant journey that would be.
Thank you.
Just ask him to come close to you. Make himself known. There are other helpers, and these other helpers are not necessarily the main guides. They are not guides. You will have a main guide there, but they will know you through past lives. So they know all about you. So you will have a soul recognition, and you know that they are there. Now we do have Grandad Charles here. Granddad Charles. Charlie. Charlie is here. They're all flooding in, so we have to keep some sort of order here. Charlie.
My husband's granddad is Charlie.
Yes, and he is here and he is saying, I'm proud of you, dear. And he is saying that you've had some trouble with a wrist and an arm. Would you understand this?
Yes.
And he's saying that he's come here to give you a little bit of healing tonight. And we will be doing some healing. So if one wishes to come up and have healing done, then you are most welcome to do so. But he is with you and he's working on your wrist and arm. And he says it aches.
Yes.
And he says, do you wear bracelets and things on it?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Sometimes they're a little tight, that doesn't help. But he says it seems to be a little bit of rheumatism or arthritis there.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, don't worry about it. Just do some gentle exercises on it and put some heat on it. And he says it can be annoying because it sort of interferes with the things you are doing in your daily life. But he's giving you his love. And he says, I passed to the spirit world. There were other things, factors wrong with me.
Yes.
And there was more than one thing wrong with me.
That's right. Yes.
And I had to take medication. And, I didn't like it. I was a very stubborn man. But he said lots of love to you. And he said, when we go back to the other side, we suddenly realize all of our faults, so we could have been better if we tried. But we understand that we weren't perfected. And that our imperfections are our beauty.
Yes.
In some way or another. He has a gentleman named Harry with him. But you may not know him.
No, I don't know Harry.
No, he's with one of his friends and he's saluting you. You see, he's saluting you.
Okay, lovely.
And he's saying, I remember you skipping. He's talking about skipping up the road, you see. Not walking, but skipping. A little tapping you were. And does anybody understand Jenny from Spirit, please? Jennifer, Jenny. Jenny. Now she is going to stand aside because she thinks that other people know her outside of this place. And we have Helen here too. Helen passed to the spirit world with cancer. And she said it's such a common phenomenon in your modern society to pass away with cancer. But she had cancer of the breast, which then spread upwards into her brain. And does anybody know about this lady, please? Because she would have been a friend and a confidant, and also a mother to Helen. Does anybody know her? It's Speak up or forever hold your peace, as I always say. Yes. I also want to say that there is a mother here too. And she would have darkened her hair because she would have been very stubborn about wearing grey. And her name is Dorothy, Dot, you see? And she would have probably passed in her 80s, but she would have coloured her hair and she would have had it permed and what have you. Wavy hair here, looking very nice. She would have kept herself very nice indeed. And she's got a pretty blouse on here and a skirt. And toward the end of her life, she got a little bit thin. She lost weight. Does anybody know Aunt Dot, please? Auntie Dorothy. Speak up or forever hold your peace. It's going to get a habit, is it?
I've only got 2 grandmothers called Dorothy, but not an auntie.
Yes. She would have been an auntie as well, but this lady is quite petite.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Yes.
She had small shoulder structure. And she said, I had a big pair of arms to wrap around you. And I will give that to you. Now, would you understand the colouring of her hair?
Yes.
Finally, we have got it to you.
She's got used to cover it for her.
Yes. And she said, you know, you always did a good job of it, darling. And, you know, I'm looking young and beautiful now.
Good.
That I come back to you as you would have remembered me. And she said you coloured it in a sort of a chestnut brown colour.
Yes.
And she said that was her original colour when she was young. And she also says that there are photographs of her in places.
Yes, there are, yeah.
And she says, I was quite a good-looking young woman. And in that, her hair looked darker. You see, she's got her hair up. So it's a little bit longer. You see. It's in a bun.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sort of looking to the side, glancing to the side, as if she's looking up at something. And she has a cardigan on. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I do, yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. So she says, at last I've got through. I need to explain myself a little bit better next time. But we have to shout through a vortex of energy, you know. We're not shouting as such, but we have to communicate through the energy that is given to us. So it helps if you work out who is who and what is what, and you answer us, and then we can make an even better connection towards you.
Okay, thank you.
And we do have Elsie here too tonight. Elsie. And she was an elderly lady that was in an old people's home, she says, and there was somebody here that used to do nursing.
Yes.
And this Elsie was there. I don't know if you remember her.
Yes, I do.
And she says, I was quite a small lady. But they're not too small, not dainty small, but, you know, small in height perhaps, but a good pair of shoulders on me. And I got very weak, and people nursed me and washed me. Did you remember that? Did you go to her house personally?
No, she was in care home.
Yes. She said she was sad to come away from her home and lose her independence.
Yes.
And she said it is a very sad time because they put you in a room and you've got a television in front of you and that is it.
Yes.
And I like the radio, you see. But she says, I thank you for looking after me because you were always so very nice. You were one that always seemed to have time for us.
Mm.
And I'm very appreciative of that. So she would like to thank you. And she says, you won't lose by it, dear. You will be rewarded for the good things that you do in this life.
Okay.
Would you know Madge, please?
Madge.
Yes.
Or
Marge.
Marge, yes.
Yes, you would know Marge. And would you know her as being in the home or the family member?
Connected to the family.
Yes. She's very stubborn. And she's always doing this with her chin.
Hmm.
she would analyze things and she would use her hand and it just looked like this, you see.
Yes.
And she said, I'm still doing it now. And she says there are also photographs of me in the album somewhere. And there is a photograph of somebody in a garden. They've got bushes behind them. It's a back garden, and there are 3 people in the photograph.
Yes.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
It's sort of coloured but faded.
Black and white, I think.
Black and white, yes. So they're all there, and they're looking very happy in the picture. And there is also a photograph of 3 children in a school photograph.
I don't recall it.
And there is a boy in the centre and 2 girls either side. And this is a more modern term of photographs.
Do you know the boy's name?
The little boy, he looks to be called Andrew. He's got blonde hair, but it is sort of what I would call a mouse in blonde hair. It's cut with a full fringe.
I don't know.
Not to worry, my dear, but and there is a gentleman in here around about the age of 23 to 25 who committed suicide.
Oh, yes.
Would you understand that?
Yes.
And he is here with you tonight, and he says, I'm so happy to be here. I am in the light. I am in peace. But at that point in time, I wasn't. I had a huge trauma happen to me, and I guess that I couldn't face things. And the only way I saw was out. Now, would you understand he's close to you?
We shared music together.
He said, I love music with you, darling. And you know, thank you for being so kind to me. You were like a mother to me.
Yeah.
And you were so sad when I passed. It was such a shock to you. But I so appreciate you, and I will help you now from this side if you wish.
Thank you.
He says he is with his family on the other side. And that he will always be by your side if you need him there.
Thank you, thank you.
Would you understand the name of Robert? I know that the lady had a guy, Robert, but there is an earthly Robert. Rob.
That's me, yes?
You are Rob, yes.
Yes.
And I want to go to something within your breathing status.
Okay.
And I also want to go to the spine, the base of the spine.
Right.
And I want to say that they are saying, look after your back.
Okay.
You see? And there seemed to be something of a family member that was causing a little bit of a problem previously.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you had to deal with it. It was a very stressful time for you.
Yeah.
But I would say that well done for being quietly assertive with them. Seems to have settled down.
Thank you, yes.
Yes. I want to put Andy with you on the earth.
Yes.
And I want to put a gentleman that liked to wear a trilby hat. Trilby hat.
Yeah, I can say that.
Yes. And who knows about Percy in here? Percy. A cat. Percy. Or Percival, whatever you want to call it, but Percy. Do not worry, we cannot take it, because we will move on from that. But he is saying this gentleman is taking his trilby hat off you.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. And he says next year is going to be a very promising year for you both.
Thank you.
We'll make sure of that. And there's a gentleman here that liked the 1950s music. He has the suede shoes on, the chunky suede shoes. He has the jacket and all of that paraphernalia, he's calling it.
Not sure on that, but yes. Thank you anyway, my friend.
You are welcome. Any other questions?
Yes, Jonathan, I'd like to know have a bit of direction about my journey, and maybe about my guides.
Ah, yes. Now, with you, I see a Roman standing there. He has the, and what he's holding up is a big torch-like sort of spear there. and he has sort of firelight coming from it, you see.
Yeah.
And he says that his name is Marcus, and he is there with you to give you inner strength. And there is a possibility that you will go forth to progress with your mediumship. Have you ever thought of doing clairvoyance?
I do now, yeah.
Yes, and do you go up at the front and do it?
Not yet.
Oh, well, that will happen, my dear. It is imminent. But we will take good care of you. Don't worry. There is nothing to be afraid of because you are all human beings. They are just sitting there in awe of you waiting for a message. Just go with it, my dear. And we all understand that there's nervousness, but you're all one, really, aren't you? So again, next year for you is going to be a little test about going up in front of a few people, all sort of sitting down at the present time, and then you're being allowed to give a message. You will do that, and it will lead you further into this coming up at the front.
Thank you.
They are very proud of your achievements, so keep going. We do have Terry here. Terry.
This just passed in the last few weeks.
Yes, he says, I'm here for you, darling. I'm here for you. I want to wrap my arms around you, and I want to thank you for accepting me and remembering me, you know. I know it's only been a few weeks, but, you know, I'm so happy in spirit now. It's a huge release and a huge weight off my family's shoulders. You know, I didn't want to be burdensome to them.
Mm-hmm.
Would you understand it was quite quick with him?
Yeah.
You know, it seemed to be a diagnosis and then within a few weeks.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's very happy. And he says, you know, I was getting more and more afraid because I didn't want to be looked after like that. That wasn't me. I was independent.
Yeah.
And very, very much wanting to get out of into the world, you know, but I can see the universe. I can see everything now. It's absolutely wonderful. I am home again.
Oh, wow.
Thank you for being a good person and continue to be who you are. Don't change. I give you my love and gratitude. I'm dancing about the place like a fool now because I'm so happy that I got through to you, darling. And would you, does anybody understand Mavis in here? Mavis.
My husband's family had a Mavis.
Yes. Mavis is here, and she's showing me light hair. But she says, I'm good looking and lovely now. I've just come to, you know, to take my part and say hello to you. There's so many in here. She says, well, you know how crowded it was. It's so quiet, but it's crowded with spirit. We're all standing in the others there. And we do have, yes, thank you, Deanne on the earth. Or Diane, is it? Deanne? Diane. Now, actually, there is Diane in spirit too. Now, Diane is here. And she was a friend to somebody, and she passed. And I see there was something wrong inside her head here. In fact, I'm going to go to the description because there are many here, and sometimes the messages get a little muddled. There is somebody here that had a fall, and they fell from something, down from something, and they damaged their head, and they couldn't be revived. And they were found sort of in a corner, up against the corner, you see.
I can take that.
Yes, would you understand it to be a female?
No.
Would you understand the female found him?
Yes.
Because he's sort of lodged up in the corner somewhere. He's fallen and he's sort of bundled up in a corner. Would you understand that?
Yes.
And it was difficult for the people to get in the room to get him out.
Yes.
And so it went on for about an hour trying to get him out of there.
That's what I know, yes.
Yes. And he says, you know, I did pass peacefully, and once we come out of our body, there is no pain in it, no suffering. So although I was scrunched up in the corner, I didn't suffer anything because it was quick.
Yes.
So really, I just died and fell. I fell and died, and well, I guess you couldn't call it death, but I passed away. And I'm here to say, well, thank you for remembering me, darling. And you know, it was a very, very sad time for the family. He says, you know, I did what I could in life, but I didn't expect to pass so suddenly, but you never do you? And what he's saying is, all of you, make the most of your life, because you never know when it's going to happen. We're not wanting you to live in fear that you could pass any moment. What we're saying is, we're saying live life to the fullest. Enjoy it. Enjoy every moment with your loved ones, every happiness that you experience in life, remember it. Hold on to it. Because you never know when you're going to go. And you don't want to go with regret that you didn't spend time with each other. He's a lovely man. And he's saying, I wish you all the best, darling. Now, who would understand Joe here tonight? And this would be a female Joe.
Yes.
And she's a nice lady. She's got some highlights in her hair. She's saying, well, I've done it. I look gorgeous now. But she's saying, I'm with you at the back there. And would you understand going into her chest? Would you understand that, my dear?
Not really, no.
Maybe she is not for you because I cannot change it, you see.
No.
I do not change things to fit things. And this lady has, her name is Jo. She is, I want to put her in her 40s.
No.
And I want to put her with highlighted hair. She had darker hair, but she highlighted it. And she passed the spirit with something going on in the head here. You see, somebody passed the spirit with a brain hemorrhage. And as you understand, there are so many of them in here wanting to communicate. You see? And somebody is mentioning the Beatles that were in the house, the Beatles. Now, not the singers, the Beatles, but creatures, Beatles. Somebody had an attack of Beatles in their home. The earwigs or something, creatures. And she's saying it came from some dampness. You see? Sometimes they will tell you something that has previously happened or already about to happen. Yes, we will perhaps take a break and reconvene, and then perhaps some healing may take place. I will be waiting while you have your refreshments.
Can't hold it in.
If you need to go from there to the time, there's 3 of them there. If anyone wants to come and tea, then by all means, coffee. Anyone prefers cold drink?
It's amazing. It's been on the wall. We have a Facebook. So it's going to like did reenactment Wild West and it's operating and on that show the war. He said, so he had got down and he was showing me out. And he said, I must know that there's the letter prayer fans, I thought that's all I was doing. Bringing the rest out in the car. Because I'm like, I'm thinking, that's because I'm joined to this Native American group of space. How would you look after it? Being nasty. That's stealing our confidence. You should learn. But actually, one of my dogs, one of the most under medication, is actually being working on it.
Do you want to go back to
Mother grandma died when she was 18. Oh, I think she was 82. That was like 8 years ago. Well, at least it was your March yours. Do it. Oh, good. I always have to have that sticky. Yeah. Did you? Yes. Yeah. Please do. Stop the school and then you get see if I can get my mum to. Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, it's pretty difficult, isn't it? Because it's your mum. I mean, I can't even imagine how that's going to be. December 5th. Very quick.
Did you want to talk to you?
Get used to that there's something wrong with her, and she just went like that. It was so great for that, you know, young people.
Those mistakes.
So yeah.
Absolutely. Could have been it. Could have been so.
Yeah, I like that tattoo. When did you get that? I didn't have that before, did you?
Yeah. Did you?
I never seen that.
Yeah.
You want to see
It's
that
too,
her
years.
daughter, Joanna. Have you got any pictures in the chat? And so she likes.
Your Steve knows Joe.
And she's.
Where are you, I suppose? Put your glasses on. I can't see this.
Yeah, it's like that. The thing is, Jonathan is because like I say, it's very difficult to know when he's carrying his story and when he's finished. You know what I mean? 'Cause he can't see when I was listening. I don't want to interrupt him. I know when you're, you know, because he's yeah. But you know, when it's meant to, that was very informative, wasn't it? Really, all of that. I don't know if it answered my question. But, do you remember the chance to ask questions? Yes. Yes. And then the heating. Not all the time. Yes. Yeah. Let's forget the golf. Is that her page? This is Instagram. That's what she had 2 years ago for her birthday. Right. She likes that kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, I like Stephen King as much as the next person, but really, that's quite a. I like. Do you like to read his books? They terrify me. Do they? Yes. Do you know Stephen King is really good? Is Dean Koontz? Have you ever read any of his? No. Well, he's one that. It's not quite scary, but he makes you think about things. You know, I've heard of him actually. Oh, he's really good. In fact, I'll see if I still got some of these stuff that I used to read them. I used to have, I don't know if I do or not. Scott just going, yeah. So you got to do filming. Okay. I just hope you're having a good time because I don't want you to feel bored or anything. It's definitely a pretty interesting experience. Charlotte is the actress that sings, but all three of them, they're all very talented. Charlotte, she does a lot of I've been to Hoover's with you. Yeah, she did. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. She did that. Cats.
What else? Oh, my favorite, just have to bring her down there to still have very good. You know, that's that right there. What? Don't ask me why. I'll be down in this. Probably got it. You click on it. Click on it, bring it up. Stick up. Stick up. Well, she went to uni up in that was how they put their costumes on. And she made beautiful stuff. Does she do that now? No. She's between jobs. She's real excited, wasn't she? You all ready? Yes.
Hello again. Now that you have had your refreshments, I can come back and speak to you once again. At this time, I will be going ahead with some healing, perhaps. If you are willing to come to the front and have a little bit of healing, then you are welcome to do so. So, we shall see who is wanting it most, because they will be first up to the front, and don't be afraid. Hello.
No, that's fine, just in case.
Okay. Thank you, Jonathan.
Does anybody else care to come? You're sitting down? One. Close your eyes and trust. I'm going to let you do this, but go ahead. and taking out that which is no longer needed in there. Just been a little bit sleepy. See things. Good. Wonderful. Hello to you. Want to see your names? I hope that I haven't spoiled your hair. I've gone from cold to hot. In a moment. We have some meat, almost. Seems like it is there as well. Sorted that out. About your day. You see, the body will react to the heat of that. There are several others in here doing heat tonight. She is now reacting to it. What is going to shake it? Is releasing water. The energy is flowing in here tonight. You feel the peace in here, can't you? Is somebody shy? How's your neighbors? It will begin to work out. Do you want to see? Would you like to see? Would you like me to give you some of that? This time. You will probably feel a little lighter. No idea. You have trouble with the light? Turn the chair to the side, and then I will work on your light. Turn yourself to the side, whichever you want. Whichever is easiest for you. That's, I know Elaine can. Yes, we are. Yes. It's right there, isn't it? You feel yourself straightening up. There's a lot of tight muscles in there. One side supports the other. But I am shifting things within. Turn to face the crowd. Over here.
We'll make that last here, if that's okay.
Yes, that is fine.
Sorry about that.
I'm sure that there will be other times that you will all receive healing in here tonight, even if not by touch. There are plenty of souls in here who are willing to give healing. I understand that your earthly time is getting long.
Yes.
Yes,
We've got a little longer. 15 minutes.
yes. So, are there any other questions that you wish to ask, perhaps about healing or whatever it may be?
Have you got a Jason float about, please?
Would you say that again?
Have you got a Jason float about as far as it's around?
Well, I do believe that Jaden's quite mischievous. In a good way. You see? Would you understand that life ended rather quickly?
take that.
Yes?
Yes.
And it seemed to be that there was something wrong within, you see. I want to go to some sort of impact. I want to go to an inner body injury, would you understand? Because you understand there are lots of energies in here, but I would say that Jaden is with you, and I want to say that this jade is wrapping her arms around you. There's a young girl wrapping her arms around you, would you understand?
Yeah.
And she's a pretty girl, you see, and she's showing me fair hair, would you understand?
Yes.
And she's showing me the pretty face, and she's putting the lipstick on and things. She is very happy in heaven, she wants you to know that. And she also has a pet dog with her. Would you know about this dog, please?
Not sure.
And she has it with her, and she is mentioning Michael as well. Michael. And she is saying this Michael is upon the earth. Now, would you understand? She is trying to explain that a relationship has had a problem in it. And it is a man and woman relationship. Do you understand that? She's trying to explain that somebody is going to find another relationship. And she says that they will be a lot happier when they do, because the time has been a bit miserable for them the last couple of years. Maybe you know who she is talking about. Can you hear me?
I can hear, but I can't.
Yes.
I can't compute my brain.
It is a friend of yours outside of the family that is having some relationship problems, and she says that soon they're going to come away from it, and soon they're going to find somebody else that will make them much happier. You know what Jade is like? She liked to see everybody happy, didn't she? She was a very happy-go-lucky girl. But I want to say that she's talking about a pretty little necklace, and some pretty little earrings, and a pretty little ring.
Take that, yeah.
And she is saying there's going to be a gift of that. But she herself is talking about this quick passing. Now, would you understand somebody taking their life? I will make that contraction has gone past. And would you understand somebody taking their life?
She didn't take her life, so I took her.
Yes. You would understand that somebody took it for her?
Yeah.
So you understand that, would you understand this to be a male that took it, her life?
Yeah.
And would you understand it to be some sort of partnership?
Yeah.
And that, would you understand, I want to put her near water? Would you understand this water?
No.
It's as if she was living near water. You see, but she's got a water. And she's also showing me a bath for some reason. But she is saying that something of a pushing. Would you understand? Pushing and shoving.
Yeah.
So he was a bully, she says. And in the end, Mum, I knew that he would kill me. You kept telling me, didn't you? You kept warning me. Did you not ever like him?
It's my sister's daughter.
Yes. But what she is saying is, she loves Mum, and she said that Mum kept warning her about him.
Yeah.
And she never took any notice because she was infatuated with him. She loved him, you see. And she saw it as love because she felt insecure and she wanted to be loved. It's not that her mother didn't love her, it's not that her family didn't love her, that's the way she felt. But she saw something in this gentleman that others didn't see, perhaps, and they saw something that she couldn't see. And so, well, she said that he hit her, you understand? And that he hit her one too many times. And that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I see there's an injury to the back of her head. There were times when she said that he would push me up against the wall and things, and I can tell you the half of it. But you know, he will have to learn. And I'm here, and I'm in spirit, and I'm happy. And would you tell Mum that I love her so much, and I know she's got photographs of me and my other members of the family. And she is talking about a brother on the earth.
Yeah.
And she's talking about another sibling, another sister, too. Yes, she's giving love to them as well. And she's mentioning a Mark. Would you understand, Mark? She's saying that, not in the way of name Mark, but there was on seeing her body, there would have been a mark on it that wasn't very pleasant.
Yeah.
And the mother was very distraught about that. There was a bad bruise on her body. But she says, I want her to remember me as I was when I was here. I was but a fool not to let him go, but you know, I guess it is all meant to be. Maybe he has to go away and learn about his behavior, but he has to do it the hard way. I guess she said we all had our crosses to bear and I had mine, but I just didn't see it. I didn't want to see it. But I thank you for loving me. And I will always be here with you.
Yeah.
Can I ask, can you see? I'm a bit lost at the moment, and I don't know where I'm supposed to go.
Well, are you wanting to go in a spiritual direction? You know, sometimes when you come to a full stop in your life, and when you become at a crossroads and you don't know where to go, it can be a sign. And it can be a sign that your intuitive self is saying, well, look, you know, we're right here. Could you take some notice of us? You know, we're right here. Your journey is right here, but you just cannot see it because you cannot see the wood for the trees. I would say to you, do what makes you happy in life. So many people go to their workplaces and they are miserable.
I don't know what that is anymore.
Well, what do you like doing?
That's it, I don't know anymore. I am totally lost.
So you are admitting to yourself that you are lost. Come, my dear. I know that you only have a short time left, but I need to lift that from you. I want to let it go. Is there somebody that you want to see? Come on.
There's lots of people around us. I don't feel there's a purpose. I don't understand what I'm supposed to do.
You have come here tonight for a purpose. This is just a little bite of the apple. The rest will follow suit. You will meet many spiritual people who will bring you to your true journey, your true self. So let's let that lost little girl go. You don't have to feel lost. You are truly loved. You are not just a number in a crowd. The back of the room, you are special. You are unique. And you are inclusive. So what I am going to do is to shift this energy that no longer serves you. This not a bad energy, it's just lost. That will go now. And then you will find your purpose in life. Is to be helping others that feel totally lost. You had to go through it first in order to understand what they were suffering with. How do you understand that? Come on. Stare at four walls. Always imagine better around the corner, but it will come to you. The universe knows what you want and what you need, because you are part of it. There's a lady there, listening to the light. She is mother to you. She says it's going to be all right. Now go and be your true self. Self that you are meant to be. Things will change now. You will start to meet people that care for you and lift you up.
Thank you.
Well, there you go, everybody. I have enjoyed conversing with you all, and we have enjoyed bringing you our love and our gratitude for allowing us to come and join you here. And of course, Elaine and I will continue to do this for years to come. And your guides will help you with your spirituality as well, because it is much needed in your world right now. So have faith in yourselves and them, and have faith in the higher power. And it is not about power over another, it is the power of love. Nothing is greater than the power of love. You can have a man there that can lift many, many things. But can he lift his heart to love others? You may have things happen in your life that will make you sad, but they will help you to understand and become empathic to one another, to grow stronger, to be having greater determination to love yourself and to love others. Do not forget yourself. It is not a selfishness to love oneself. It is good to love another because that is what you are made for, to understand unconditional love, but also love yourself. And allow it to shine out from you. Give it to others too. God bless you all.
Welcome back.
Thank you, everyone. Can you join me in prayer now? Father, we thank you for all you have brought to us this evening. Our guides, the loved ones, Saint Jonathan, and all the healing that has been given for whoever has had it here tonight. May it continue for us all, along with the love and the protection as well. Now and throughout the days of our lives, may we always hold our loved ones on the other side in our hearts, and you too, Father. We ask that you give each one of us a safe journey home, and that we may all continue to go and spread your word. Amen. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Oh, you have some.
Thank you.
Don't forget your picture.
Thank you very much.
That's good. You asked me a question.
Yes, I did.
Well, I have no idea what it was. I can't remember.
Well, I said I didn't know a purpose. I just lost.
Oh, it was you, was it? Yes.
Um,
Oh dear.
I just didn't see. Nobody gets that